What is up, gang? What's up? Final hour of the program here. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network on this Good Friday. Hope you're having a good Friday. That's Derek. That's Barrett. I'm Rob. All right, let's hit a couple things here, guys. For starters, I don't know if you guys remember this. January 21st. So, yeah, we were talking about a little ways back. There was some incident with Joe Mixon in Cincinnati.
Oh, downtown. Yeah.
So, yeah, there was a charge, and then the charge was gone, and now it's back. So it's a misdemeanor aggravated menacing charge against him for an alleged incident in January. So allegedly, Mixon pointed a gun at a woman January 21st, the day the Bengals traveled to face the Bills. Initial charge was dismissed less than 24 hours after it was filed. Florida authorities said that during the court proceeding that they reserve the right to refile the case upon gathering further evidence. So they have resubmitted it. So we'll see what ends up happening. You know, Joe's had he's had a lengthy history here, going back to his college days. So we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, the charges were brought back against him. Who knows? Jeez. Who knows? All right. So there's that.
It doesn't make sense, man. Why? Come on, man.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer. I don't. This one's. I always keep my eye on sort of like connect the dots sort of moves, and it sounds like a nothing move, but maybe it's a something move that we're getting close. So the Jets signed former Packer backup. He's bounced around a little bit. Tim Boyle, Gunnar. I know you know who he is.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So he goes to New York. He finished last season with the Bears, but he goes back and he's reunited with Nathaniel Hackett, who was in Green Bay. I know that he was friendly with Rodgers as well. I don't know how much to read into that, if that has anything to do with anything, but you know, maybe it's just the Nathaniel Hackett connection. But he'll go there and maybe be their third stringer, I would guess, behind Wilson as the 2 and whoever ends up being the 1.
They've already committed to Wilson as the 2, so he would definitely be the 3 at the best.
Yeah.
But here's another. Bring in more people familiar with Aaron.
Exactly.
Bring in some more of Aaron's people. You got the offensive coordinator, a receiver, and now backup quarterback. And there's still the possibility they may try to bring in Randall Cobb, who's one of his closest friends, as a slot receiver. You just keep bringing it in. I thought it was interesting that Andrew Brandt said he felt that Green Bay had the leverage here in this case, because I've been split down the middle. I go back and forth with this every day in terms of who has the leverage the longer this thing lingers. And getting it from an insider who has been on both sides of the table as an agent and as a negotiator for an organization. When he jumped up and said he thought Green Bay had the advantage here, I'm like, wow. To me, the only person that has the advantage in this whole thing is Aaron, because Aaron can blow this up. You know, if I'm the Jets, I want guarantee he's going to play beyond 2023.
If play this year. How about that? Just this year.
Well, he's already said he wants to play for the Jets. He came out and said that after Green Bay came out and said, we're moving on. He came out and said, I want to play for the Jets. Okay, so that's etched in stone. How long do you want to play for the Jets? Are you going to give us Tom Brady years? Are you going to give us at least 3, which will put you at 41, 42 when you're done? What do you get? I mean,
so he's got 2 years left on this deal, right?
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't know that you're going to get him to commit beyond that. You know,
he might have commit beyond this year.
Well, exactly. Like that was, and you're right. That was one of Andrew's points was like, are we going to give a ton up here? And he walks after 1 year because he's a flaky dude, and I'm being kind. He's different. I don't know. He may hate it in New York. Who knows with this guy? He's a very unpredictable person.
But what the thing is, though, if he goes up and he has a team right now to compete in the division number 1. So if they're winning games, it'd be hard for me to say that he wouldn't want to stay there and build something there.
I agree, Barrett. You know, because even if you like, I think they're going to be good defensively. Yeah, I think he's got some weapons he's got better weapons on the outside than he had last year in New York, at least.
Absolutely does.
Than he's ever had in Green Bay.
If Breece Hall's healthy, he's got a really good running back.
He's got a good defense, a really good defense.
Yeah. So I think there's great potential there.
Yeah.
You know, if he ends up going there to have success.
But you never know, man. He might listen to the crystals. The crystals tell him You shouldn't play this well.
The crystals.
Never know with him, man. Get some bad peyote or something. You know what I'm saying? You never know, bro.
It's just who knows? I can't try and get him Aaron Rodgers' head. So we'll see what ends up happening. But at least his old backup, who was his buddy, ends up going there, and we'll see what ends up happening with that. Really beyond that, there hasn't been a lot of movement. With anything. We're still in a holding pattern with Lamar Jackson. We're still in a holding pattern with Aaron Rodgers. We're in a holding pattern as far as extensions go, in particular with Jalen Hurts. It's been, just sort of that time period. It's weird. The NFL has very few slow periods.
Right.
We're in a little bit of one right now, until the draft hits, and then you have it right before camp, and that's it. They're the only two really times a year for 12 months a year that there's even a little bit of a lull, and it's kind of a little bit of a lull, for sure. But all right, let's look at the edge rushers here, guys, that are coming out. We do this and we kind of rank them, but it's also just digging into the player, himself. And I'll throw the obvious one, and you guys tell me if there's anybody else that you think goes first over him. I'd be happy to hear it. But Will Anderson from Alabama, 6'4", 243, a guy who's been a dominant player throughout his career with the Crimson Tide. I mean, is there any rusher going ahead of him on the edge?
Oh, no. I think he's got that locked up. In terms of his status being that elite edge rusher, a lot of years you have guys who are considered interchangeable parts in all the draft, pundits, half pick one, other half pick the other, and 50% right and 50% wrong. I think in this case he's a clear-cut favorite to be the first one off the board, first edge rusher off the board this year.
Yeah. Barry, how about you? Is there somebody you like better?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nobody I like better. And, would he look good in that midnight green?
Ooh.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Could he be right around there at 10? I think he will be.
Mm-hmm. Do you? You think he'll last to 10? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, who I'm trying to think of who wouldn't take Carter, who wouldn't take Gonzalez, who wouldn't take the 4 quarterbacks, who wouldn't take Bijan Robinson. You know what? That's 9 right there, isn't it? That's 9 guys right there.
Okay, so yeah, let's look at it then. Let's go through it. So, by the way, Chris Mortensen is reporting that the Panthers like Bryce Young better than C.J. Stroud.
See that?
So, yeah, I think we sort of just assumed it was going to be Stroud, but that that's a very credible source there saying that. So anyway, all right, this is the draft order. Carolina's going quarterback. Agreed?
Yes.
Houston goes quarterback. Agreed?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Could Arizona take Will Anderson at 3?
Yes.
That's where he could go, B.
Yes. Or Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, all right. So, but let's just continue to play it out. Indianapolis quarterback, right?
Yep.
Seattle a possibility on the edge?
Yes. The way they're spending money on defense, yes.
And or Detroit to put him on the other side of Hutchinson, maybe?
You know what? You're right. Will Anderson will go either to the Cardinals, Seattle, or Detroit. You're right. You're absolutely right.
All right. Well, then let's jump to the second. And by the way, Anderson was just an unreal player throughout his career at Pat.
Absolutely.
Now it gets interesting when you get past him because there's a couple different guys. I know, Barry, I'll let you talk about him because I know you bring him up a lot. Miles Murphy, the kid out of Clemson. He is 6'5", 275. He also runs like, a 4.5 40 too. He is all the intangibles and tangibles are there with this guy.
And he can heat it up from the outside. We're talking about a guy that in Miles Murphy that he should have played better than what he played, but he still played at a very, very high level. He was a blue chip All-American. He was all that coming out of high school. He played very, very well, very, very well. You know what I'm saying? But will he be there at number 10? I think he will be there at number 10. But is there somebody else that I want there at number 10 that we can get? I would say yes. I would definitely say yes.
Okay.
I think he'll be there, but I don't think we pick him. I'll tell you when we get to my guy.
Okay. Again, I'm just throwing out the guys that I like. This is my order. Could be any order you guys want to jump on. But Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech, 6'6", 275, just a specimen.
He won't be there.
You think he won't? No, he'll be gone. Okay,
he'll be gone. He's one of the best as far as raw talent, size, speed. He doesn't make it past 8. Believe that. You know what I'm saying? He won't make it past 8. He's that talented as a player that he won't make it past 8. He's one of the guys I would love to have, but he's just too good. He's just really too good.
All right. Now this is where it gets interesting because he's light of size, but
that's my guy
in a lot of other areas. Yeah, I feel like this is where you're going. Nolan Smith out of Georgia.
Absolutely. Nolan Smith will be there at 10. Can you imagine this? Just put this in your brain. You've got on one side, Nolan Smith runs a 4.3 40 at 235, 240, 6'2". And on the other side, you got Hassan Reddick. Come on, man. That's some heat coming up. And then this kid is strong too. He started half the season as a rookie, as a freshman, and then started all 3 years after that. He's strong enough to set the edge against big
at that school, by the way. That's saying something. You know what I mean? Like the whole freshman thing's a big deal at a school where you have guys who were sitting on the bench who could go dominate somewhere else who don't get opportunities. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
So he can set the edge. He's strong enough to set the edge. He can be an every down defensive end at this level. An every down defensive end. You'd have to take him off on run plays. He's strong enough to go against run. He's fast enough to get around the corner. He runs a 4.3 40. He can run straight through you. He has great ankle bend. He has a high motor. That first step getting off the ball. I want Smith to wear eagle green. That's
you think he'll be there at 10?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Well, if you look at the Eagles' MO, they like their edge rushers to be a little bit on the smaller side. Brandon Graham, 6'2". Derek Barnett, 6'2". Teron Jackson, 6'2". They like their edge rushers to be smaller and quicker off the edges. And you look at a lot of these teams now have gone to the smaller, quicker edge rushers. The days of the 6'5", 6'6" guys coming off the edge, they start moving them inside. Get your hands up. Try to bat passes down. Try to disrupt the quarterback's sight, line of sight, looking down the middle of the field. They move the bigger guys inside and bring the NASCAR guys from the outside now. So Nolan Smith fits that Eagles criteria of what they're looking for in edge rushers.
Absolutely.
Do you worry? So the knock is he's only 235. He's essentially a glorified third down specialist. Again, that's the knock. Other people will tell you this guy can play any down anywhere.
He is, man. He's strong enough to play it, man. And when I break down film on him, I'm not breaking down film of him playing against, Little Sisters of the Poor. I'm not looking at him breaking down film on Tulane or
some squid, some homecoming team.
I'm talking about Clemson,
the
Alabama, Florida State. I'm seeing them beat those guys up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Film worth, that I'm looking at other guys. I'm watching the tackles that I'm trying to break down and how he's beating up on the tackles I'm seeing that I'm breaking down on another team. This kid can play every single down, bro. He's strong enough to play every single down.
It feels like a lot of the same knocks you heard on Hassan Reddick.
It absolutely is the same knocks you hear. And what does he do? Play every single down.
Yep. All right. That's a good one. Good information on that one. Now we get into sort of that 5 range. BJ Ojulari, the kid out of LSU, who like all these guys I think will be there. As we get to that point.
Lucas Van Ness, Lucas Van Ness, his name. Lucas Van Ness.
Yeah, the kid out of Iowa. Yep.
Yes. Yep. He might. I think he's going to be there. He might not be there. But even if he is there, I don't know if I could draft a guy who didn't even start. You know what I'm saying? At Iowa. He wasn't even a starter. He was a third down specialist. Now, he did wreak havoc when he was on the field. Whenever he was on the field, he was out there making things happen.
Yeah.
But he never played on first and second down. He was only there on passing situational downs.
Yeah. And he is a specimen, you know, for
Yeah,
what
he
it's
is.
worth. Like he's that guy. You know, he's gigantic, he's fast and all that. So
But also,
Well,
you know, he can play in the inside and the outside.
yep.
the one guy that came out of the combine that really had scouts whispering was this kid out of Northwestern named Adetomiwa Adebare.
Yep.
And
Inside,
he's only 6'2", another smallish guy, but this kid, he ran a 4.49. He bench pressed 30 times. He squatted 685. All the drills he did, the cone drills, the shuttle drills, he like broke all these records, you know, at the combine. And people were like, who's this kid? He was okay. And he started looking at his numbers and stuff and said, wait a minute, this kid's – now I don't think he's a first day edge rusher, but here's another guy. You find in the second or third round, you may not know his name, but you're going to learn about his game real quick if he gets with the right defense. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. You don't know his game.
You don't know his game. You'll learn his name real quick. And then you got another name, you know, bigger guy named Isaiah Foskey out of Notre Dame.
Yep.
You know, they don't know if he's going to be a D tackle or if he's going to be an edge rusher. But as an edge rusher, Notre Dame, this dude was a pain in the butt. I mean, 6'5", 265 pounds, ran a 4.5. You know, and he has attributes. And you know what? The Eagles under Jonathan Gannon, they like to move. They like on certain downs. They like to move their DNs to the tackle spot and vice versa.
Yeah.
You know, so they like a guy who can be a what do you call him, a utility specialist. He's not just a one-dimensional player. And this kid out of Notre Dame is that. So, you know, we everybody talks about the big names, but there could be some even bigger names in like number 5 through number 12 in terms of pecking order of edge rushers coming out of college this year.
Well, let's talk about how we think this may play out. Like I think anything could happen at 10 for a couple of reasons. I think they could easily trade down. I think there's a slight chance of trading up. But this is where you're keeping your eye on the Jalen Carter types. If they start falling, you're gonna stay pat and see if you can maybe luck out and just get them. I think 10 is absolutely can go a lot of different ways, but they very well could stay there. I think 30 is almost a guarantee they move down.
They move down.
I think that also. I think they need to dread. And they need to be, and teams know it though, but they need more picks. You know, 4th, 5th, and 6th round.
Yep.
Yeah, they do.
No picks there.
Nope. You go 2 first round, 1 second, 1 third, and then you don't pick again until the 7th.
7th round. That's
2 in the
drive. That's going to drive Howie mad.
Oh, there's no chance it plays out.
He's going to go crazy. He's going to be pacing at the NovaCare. I don't think he can do it, man. I don't think he can.
See, the thing is, if you move up, whoever you trade up with, it's not going to just swap first round picks. They want something else. They want some other collateral, which means you got to give up another round pick. Well, you only have 5 other picks to play with. What are you giving up?
Exactly.
Because even if you trade out of that 30th spot, if you give up that number 10 spot and another pick, basically you're back to even again.
Right.
You know, you see what I'm saying? So it's not like you gained any additional picks. As a matter of fact, if you gave up the 3rd rounder, if you move up, giving up a 10 and a 3rd rounder, that means you would go like 1st, 2nd round, and hopefully if you trade out of the 30th spot, you get a 4th or 5th or 6th round pick, and then you get a 4th or 5th, but you lose that 3rd round pick.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, you trade down out of from 30 into whatever, somewhere in the high 2nd round. It's cheaper for you. You're going to get a comparable player. You know, you could potentially then recoup some of the middle. I mean, there's a lot of different things they can do. We know how he's creative, you know, with this stuff. So let me ask you. So Brian throws this out there. He thinks he's too small, meaning Smith. Don't care what he did. Mike Mamula had all that. You know, look.
Mike Mamula did not have that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Just because they were both smaller doesn't mean they're the same guy.
No, that's not even the closest to being a small guy. You just got to look at the tape. Looking at the tape, you'll see how he jumps out at you. Looking at the tape, see how he's able to set the edge on outside running plays. Looking at the tape, he's able to run through, not around, but run through offensive tackles. When you look at the tape, watch how he spreads himself wide and go around the corner and still reach and knock the ball down. He's refined that. Even if you start him out as a situational player and just have him in on third downs, you'll get bang for the buck. That's what you get with him. He is not too small. He plays way bigger than what he looks, and he's strong as an ox, man. So just watch tape on him, and then watch tape on him. Then Monday we'll have a discussion, man. Just watch tape on him.
All right, let me give you a couple other names.
When you look at him, he's right, bro. When you look at him, he doesn't look like he should be there, but just watch how strong he is in the way he plays.
The other guy's Jared Verse of Florida State is a guy who's considered top 10. Will McDonald of Iowa State is a top 10 guy in a lot of rankings. I'm going to mess up this name. Laiatu Latu.
Laiatu.
Yeah, Laiatu Latu. Laiatu Latu of UCLA. He's one of Chip's guys. And then Andre Carter of Army. Andre Carter is 6'7", 260 coming off the edge. That's a large human being coming off the edge.
He ran a 4.60 40.
Woo!
4.60 40. Yes,
man.
But it hurts him because he's from the armed forces, and they don't run a lot in that. When they play the teams.
Yeah, the passing game.
Well, if you want to go with size, Ohio State has been breeding nothing but superior edge rushers over the last several years.
Yeah.
And you got a kid named Zach Harrison who's 6'6", 275 pounds who ran a 4.41.
Yeah.
Now, that you want to talk about speed coming off the edge. And when you look at what they've done with the Bosa brothers, Chase Young, so on and so forth, Ohio State knows how to get maximum effort out of guys coming off the edge.
Good point.
And so there's another kid. I mean, that's a big specimen running a 4.4, carrying 275 pounds on his frame.
That's ridiculous. That's what that is.
It is. Now he's probably a second-day draft pick, but he could be one of the steals of the draft if you pick this kid. 6'6", 275, running a 4.4.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, how about a kid we know his brother? His brothers went to Chicago, but Nick Herbig.
Yes, Nate's brother. Yep.
Yeah.
So
all he does is make plays.
Yep. From Wisconsin.
They think he can be more of he'll be more of an inside linebacker when he makes that transition.
Yeah.
But hey, Jim Leonard up in Wisconsin, man, he turns out defensive players.
Yeah, he does.
It's one thing. And in Herbig, I think Herbig is better than his brother. I mean, obviously his brother was an offensive lineman, but everything I saw in the kid was a much better athlete overall. And every time you watch Wisconsin, this dude's making 8, 10, 12, 15 tackles a game. Didn't make a difference who they were playing.
Right.
And plus he can drop back in coverage also. So
that's
he might be
better too. Yeah, he can do that too. He does it very well.
How likely, considering you re-signed Brandon Graham, but you also know Brandon Graham's up there in age and it's a 1-year deal. You have Josh Sweat, you have Hassan Reddick. Derek Barnett for another year. How reasonable, I guess, is it? How realistic is it that they do take an edge guy? If they're sitting there at 10, if they don't move out of 10.
You know how he loves the trenches, man, and I just can't see them leaving the number 10 pick without bringing either offensive or defensive lineman into the fold. I just see it happening, man. That's why I say I'm kind of bullish on Nolan Smith being the guy. He's going to be the guy.
Well, look, they've had great success with Reddick. I mean, they know how to utilize him. Remember, that's one of the things we were talking about last year after they signed him, probably this time last year or whatever the date was, boy, I hope they use him right, because Arizona didn't for the beginning of his career, then did at the end, and then Matt Rule did in Carolina, but we weren't sure if Jonathan Gannon was going to utilize him right. And maybe it took them a minute, but they figured it out pretty quick, and they got the most out of him that anybody's ever gotten out of him.
Yep. They wouldn't have a problem signing a guy like Smith simply because what he did on film just outweighed anything else. Even more than I saw it. Even more than I saw with Walker from last year being the number 1 pick. Mm-hmm. I think he kind of outshot him even then. Mm-hmm. And Walker went the number 1 pick to Jacksonville.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I thought he was even better.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, let's hit it. Let's come back and we'll dig into unless there's anything else you guys wanted to hit with the Eagles and the NFL. Is there anything else you guys wanted to dig into?
We always find something.
All right, yeah, we'll come back and we will do a little revisit. We'll hit some chat section. If you have any questions, put the question mark in front of it, and we will be happy to grab those when we come back. We'll do some birthdays and also the best two-sport athletes that have ever lived. We'll do that when we get back as well. Don't go anywhere. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk now about Razor Technology and managed IT services. Yes, Razor Technology's comprehensive managed service provider solution delivers constant monitoring, on-demand assistance, and rapid issue resolution. Through data-vetted and insight-driven implementation, they strengthen your existing IT resources with both human power and expertise that reduces security risk and downtime while enhancing organizational efficiency and productivity. They are a strategic resource for adaptive and fast-growing companies that need help selecting, implementing, and managing their IT services. Their goal is bigger than just one project, one problem, or one upgrade. It's improving the overall functioning of their partners and helping them achieve their business objectives through an ongoing synergistic relationship. Give the IT team at Razor Technology the freedom to refocus by augmenting their reach with Razor Technology. Contact Razor now and learn how their managed systems can provide managed services can protect and enhance your business by calling 866-797-3282, 866-797-3282, or visit them online at Razor.